Morning guys, so in this video I'm going to tell you whether Thailand is good or bad overall, plus points, minus points for living in Thailand and retiring in Thailand. I've lived here 14 years, so I think I've got a little bit of a good idea what it's like to live here. So grab your favourite drink and stay with me.
Hi guys, why wouldn't you want to come to Thailand? Huh? Look at this. Awesome. Come visit.
So guys, the first thing I would do is come over into Thailand on a non-O visa. You don't need proof of medical insurance for that. However, I would strongly recommend that you do get medical insurance while you're here. So once you've come over with your non-O visa, you have 3 months to extend that on the grounds of retirement, which is 1,900 baht. The first thing you do when you get here is put your 800,000 in the bank, because that has to be here. That has to be in the bank 2 months prior to you apply for your visa extension. Then after that, it's 3 months. It has to be in the bank for your visa extension, and then that money must never drop below 400,000, and also you can't take any money out of it for the first 3 months. So that's the first step I would do if I come here, and this is my experience of what we've done. However, I would strongly recommend that you obviously do your own research on it so you're more happy with it. Okay, so remembering now you've got your visa in place, it's been 3 months and you've extended it on the grounds of retirement. The first thing that I would say to people, that is, you need to get the mentality of your Western ways forgotten about. Easier said than done, but it's not a holiday, it's retirement, and it's two different totally things. Because one, when you're on holiday, you know, you've saved up all year to come on your holiday for a couple of weeks or even a month, and so sky's the limit, blah blah blah, and you just out every night, checking in the local sites, down the bars, going out for dinner and stuff like that, which is great. But if you retire, it's a totally different thing. I recommend that you have a hobby. You may have a hobby that you've had in the past that you've done in between when you've been working. You can then maybe focus on doing more of that hobby, or choose a new hobby for when you're here. But retirement and coming for a holiday wherever you live in the world is a totally different thing. It took me 2.5 years to get to realise that retirement is retirement. I used to wake up early in the morning thinking I had to be doing something, and which is not a bad thing, but all I'm just saying is you really need to get your head round. It's a total different mindset from holiday to retirement. And what you do at home now in between work is, you know, you eat in most of the time, you go out every now and again for dinner, and that's great. But when you're here, treat it the same as if you was living in your own country. But what you'll find, you'll have more time to yourself, because obviously you're not working, you've retired now. So take up a little hobby. Maybe that's travelling Thailand and checking out all the amazing, wonderful sites that Thailand has to offer. Maybe it's a new hobby. For me, I go my motorcycling, I go on bike rides, touring, road trips, and also the YouTube channel as well. It gives me something to do. But you know, it's a totally different thing. It's not as easy as some people think. We get on the terms of your budget. Okay, now when you're on holiday, you have a budget, or you have a credit card, and you're working, so you know you would have a little bit more access to more money. When you retire, I would recommend that you set yourself a budget, right, and you live to that budget. It's not a bad thing to do, because things happen. Obviously you want a little bit of a slush fund for, you know, if your washing machine breaks down or the car breaks down or something like that, you know. So yeah, I would definitely say that you need to budget your monthly income, otherwise it's just going to run away with you, and the temptation to come to Thailand when you retire is to spend. We did, and so I'm just telling you on what happened to us and how it worked for us. Just sit on something. You don't have to go crackers, you know, just come and spend. I would say you sit down and you think about it and you sleep on it at least for a week. And you got to think, for us, what works is needs and wants. Do you need it? Yes, I do. Get it. Do you want it? Yeah, maybe I do want it, but sit on it and have a good think about it. Explore all your options of how to get what you want, and just take your time, right? Because you're retired. That's one thing you have. That's the only thing all of us have, is time. So spend it wisely. So another thing is to think about is socialising. Now, socialising when you're on holiday, you know, you're out every night, as I said, for dinner, and you're drinking if you're a drinker. But for us, I would say, if you, as I said previously, if you come with a mentality that you're on holiday and you're a drinker, and now all of a sudden you haven't got anything to focus on, have you really? Because before we start, I need to stay sober because I've got to go up for work again this morning. Here you don't have to do that. So if you keep going down the bars, it's going to be a slippery slope. Easy to do. You've got all the time in the world. You don't have to get in the morning, so you're going to most probably drink far more than you should do. Which, me, I wouldn't recommend that, because I've done that. I used to drink quite a lot. Now I have a beer now and again. And when we first moved over, we lived in a place that was it had a big expat community, which was great. Still got lots of good friends there on Kotel. We were there 5 years. But where we live in Panga, which is a typically Thai village, with a little village from the Muang Panga, which is the city, and so we live in a little village about 5 minutes away from there, and it's very Thai. Panga's very Thai, Western influence, a KFC, which are pretty much all over Thailand, and a pizza place, I think up by the PTT petrol station. That's the only Western influence you've got here. It is a growing community here, and Panga is pushing tourists, TAT, pushing for tourists to come. I don't think it will happen soon, because obviously when people come here, some people want beaches. So you've got Khao Lak, you've got Ao Nang, Krabi, you've got beaches, and that's what people want. We can dip into the beach here within 30 minutes of where we are. But where we are, as you can hear, it's very quiet, and it's a beautiful town, Panga. Loads of Thai restaurants. You can eat for 60 baht, and or you can go, there's some restaurants you can go and get yourself a steak for 350 baht. So we've got a great mix of predominantly Thai food, a great mix of that, and that suits us. You've obviously got to find your own piece of paradise and where you're happy, whether you want a big expat community or whether you want it quiet, and whether you want to just chill out, really. The next one, guys, is driving. You know, getting about. I mean, if you live in, I mean, even in Panga where you got the motorbike taxis, which is cheap. But if you decide you want to drive yourself, they drive on the left-hand side here, which is the same as the UK. That's about the only thing that's the same. For me, I always say, if you look back at my previous videos, it is the Wild West, and you've got to think that everyone's out to kill you, because they pull out on you from the left and the right, and it's not what you think. And the thing what you've got to learn is you've got to take the mindset away, like I said, of where you live in the UK, road rage and all that. You don't get a lot of road rage here, to be honest, but you just got to think that that's the way it is. And in your mind, it might be that you disagree with it and they should drive better, but that's the way it is, and you've got to get that in your head. That's the way it is. So drive with your abilities, and just be you know, considerate to others, where a lot of the Thai drivers aren't considerate. They pull out on you, like I said, they try and squeeze in, they'll overtake you, you know, be right up your bum, and then they'll overtake you and pull in front of you, then they turn left, you know. So I would just say it's always a caution. If you come here and you want to rent something, make sure you've got the proper license for the car or bike that you want to drive here. Second-hand cars are quite expensive. Motorcycles can be a little bit cheaper, actually. Depends. I've had mine 11 years now, and it's not worth a great deal, but it's worth a lot more to me, and it gets me around. As I say, if you look back on my other videos, you can see that we travelled from Pai up north, and I've travelled down to Betong on the Malaysian border, and it is really set up for motorcycle touring, or even if you're in a car, loads of places to stay. So that's it, what I would say. And when you get here and you're on the long-term visa, you can get yourself a Thai driving licence. It's quite easy. What we done, it was some time ago, we just showed them our UK driving licence, and then they transferred it over to a car license and a motorcycle license, because I've got that on my license, and I think it's about 300 baht. Picture, you have to do a colourblind test. That's pretty much all I've done. It may have changed, like I say, this was, you know, we've been here 14 years now, so obviously things change, and as I said right at the beginning, do your own research, make sure I'm just telling you what we done, and it may have changed by now, but at least it gives you a little focus on what you need to do to get a Thai driving licence, and decide whether you want to drive a car, rent a bike, or rent a car, or even buy one. So let's get on to the food. Why not? The food is awesome, Thai food. It doesn't have to be spicy. You just say my pet, which means it's not spicy. You can get Western food, obviously, which, you know, now and again you've got to dip into and have a little bit of a Western fix. I love Thai food, and there's so many different restaurants here in Panga, as I said. Thai food is the best in the world for me. I've never been sick with Thai food, and I've been here 14 years. If you have drinks, the beers are cheap enough. Ice is okay. You can buy ice from 7-Eleven, or you can have the ice shops. Ice in your drinks is okay, because they use the big containers for water, the same as what we use for that. So you know, I've never been sick with the ice. I've never been, pretty much, touch wood, I've never really been sick through eating or drinking here. Mind you, I do drink a fair bit of water. One thing about the water, you can buy bottles of water from 7-Eleven and most places. It's not mineral water, it's the reverse osmosis system they use, so it's just water, there's nothing in it. If you want mineral water, look in 7-Eleven or Tops or wherever you are, and it's called Minear. That is mineral water to what we know, and you can buy Pellegrino, and you can buy Peregrino here if you dish, but obviously it's an import, so it's going to be more expensive. But I would get off the beaten track, me personally. Get off the beaten track. The tourist areas are great, you're going to pay a lot more money for stuff, but if you get off the beaten track, even in the tourist areas, you can find some nice little mum and pup shops, little mum and pup restaurants, and that's where you'll find the best food. It's all cooked while you wait, and if, unlike when you're in the UK and you all go out for dinner and you all wait for all your dinners to turn up, Thailand's not like that. They cook it all individually, and so when yours turns up, you sit down and eat it, because you could be waiting a bit of time. But then what I think that does, it's showing you that you need to relax, and you need to stop worrying about when's my food coming out, this, that and the other. Just chill out. Thai time can be up to an hour, you know, not the food but the Thai time, and I think that's another, the universe showing you how to relax. It's like, it doesn't matter, my Penrai, it doesn't matter. And while we're on the subject, my Penrai, it doesn't matter, language. Now, we took Thai lessons when we first came here, when we was in Chiang Mai for some time, and I think we had 12 hours of Thai lessons, which was great. I know a bit of basic Thai, I've learned a little bit of basic Thai, but for me, I'm old. You know, I'm 66 this year, and it goes in one ear and it comes out the other. I know my numbers, I know my colours, I know how to order food, and stuff like that, and you can always get by with a little bit of Google Translate, but sometimes it does get lost in translation. But yeah, I would learn a little bit of language. The most important phrase that you can learn is Sawadee Cup, which is hello, and thank you, you know, thank you. Kapon, you know, Kapon means like super thank you. And so they're the most things, and normally if you try to converse, they appreciate that, you know, and if you try, then they'll always help you out. But again, you've always got Google Translate, which is a free app, and it's good. You can spend lots of money on translation things, but I don't think they work any better because of the lost in translation thing, because it's a tonal language, and depending how you use it, tone, it can mean a lot of different things. So 14 years, I've not starved, we've got by, we built a house, you know, and obviously the pool and stuff like that, so we've got by in 14 years, so don't let that be a hang up for you. The Thai people are absolutely lovely, and they've got a good heart, JD, and they'll always help you if they can, but you'll always get some people that won't, but that's the same everywhere that you live, isn't it, really? But generally it's a very relaxed, smiley culture. On the subject of food, one thing I would recommend is, if you like somtam, always ask for somtam Thai, because the original Thai somtam has a fermented crab in it, and you don't want that. That'll really spoil your day, that. So remember, If you say Somtam, you might get it with the blue crab in, which is fermented, and it's all. For me, I don't like it. So it's always Somtam Thai. Always remember. And if you don't want it hot, like I said earlier, my pet means not hot, not hot. Or if you want it hot, say free chili. Okay, guys, and also last piece of advice really for us. We did it the hard way, but when you come here, relax. Give yourself time to adjust to your retirement. It takes as long as it takes. No rush around, otherwise you'll end up, it'll be too much for you, and you know, you're not getting this done, you're not getting that done. Just sit. You find yourself, obviously, whether you want to build or whether you want to rent, entirely your choice. We built, and we've been in here 8 years now, but we rented on Cotel. But give yourself time to adjust. Don't feel that, you know, otherwise it'll just get too much for you, and you know, you'll start having headaches and you start worrying and panicking and stuff like that. Just relax, take your time. Remember, you're retired, so it's not a rush, not a rush thing to do. So make sure you enjoy it. Okay, so again, thanks for watching. If you look back, I've got over 700 videos on our life here in Thailand, some about motorcycles, some about travel, some about cooking, it's everything. But check the channel out, and if you want to subscribe, it's free to do so, and that's how you can help me on my channel. Please subscribe, consider subscribing, and give it a thumbs up, thumbs down, if it's your cup of tea. Put a little comment on saying you disagree with me, or you know, that's great, thanks very much for that. Ask me anything and I will endeavour to get back to you. I've never not answered somebody's comments, because I appreciate them, and if it wasn't for you guys watching my channel, then what's, you know, that motivates me, knowing that you watch it. I mean, some of my videos have had over 16,000 views, some of them have only had 40 views, but the way I look at it, was told some time ago, even if I get 40 views, you imagine being in a theatre and there's 40 people sitting there watching you, bothered to turn up and watch you. Hey, it's great. So, as I always say, guys, do all the stuff YouTube's expect you to do. Don't want nothing else, just subscribe for me, which is free. So, as I always say, guys, stay safe. Bad Badger out.